Welcome back, guys. Today marks the start of Black History Month, and here at NewsNation, we can't talk about Black History Month without mentioning civil rights icon Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. His daughter, Dr. Bernice A. King, is joining us right now, CEO of the King Center in Atlanta. She also co-authored the recently released children's book, It Starts With Me, encouraging children to open their hearts and their minds through words, actions, and thoughts rather than violence. And Dr. Bernice A. King is joining us right now. Good morning to you.
Good morning to you. Glad to be here with you.
Yes, glad to have you. Black history is often a story of resilience, of strength in the face of adversity. And there are a lot of people across this nation of every denomination, color, and creed who need strength and resilience right now. What can all Americans learn from the life of men like your father?
I think the first thing that they can learn is that we have the power and the strength within us to challenge those situations, circumstances, and conditions that would seek to divide us as a humanity. That we can have faith in the universe, for my father and God, to help us in that process. We talk about this moral arc of the universe being long, but it bends towards justice. But more importantly, that ordinary people, because my father was an ordinary person. He grew up, looking at the conditions of his time that he was faced with, and he decided to be a solutionist. We can all be a solutionist when we look at what is happening in our world and make our individual contributions according to the passion within us and the gifts and talents that we have.
That's beautifully said. I love how you said that. And obviously, you're very passionate about speaking about your father, but also your mother, Coretta Scott King, yes, who obviously has had a very trying time raising 4 kids as a young, you were 5 years old when your father was assassinated. Just being strong herself. What did she teach you as a woman about resilience?
Well, my mother's greatest teaching was in her life, in the way that she exemplified strength and courage, and especially when facing adversity. So I drew from just her examples of never giving up, of pursuing the things that were in her heart to pursue in spite of everything around her that was saying you should do something else. I mean, when my father was assassinated, everybody said, stay home and raise your children. But she had this calling in her life to institutionalize the legacy of my father, because she felt that this world needed to understand the nonviolence that he taught us, that he lived, and that they worked in that movement to bring about social change. And whatever I need to do to institutionalize that and advance those teachings, I'm going to do. And so she kept pushing forward, even as things came against her. And so she was a very strong and powerful woman. And so I don't think it was one set thing that she said. It was just watching her over and over again, continuing to push forward against all of the adversity that she faced.
Yes, definitely a living example. You've been very vocal in your support for voting rights legislation. This has become a very hot topic, and we see comparisons have been made to the time where your father was still alive. First, what would you tell people who are watching today about the progress your father made back then, and what would you say to help people realize what needs to be done now?
Well, during my father's time, their focus was to defeat de jure, by law, segregation in the South. That was their focus under the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. They were successful in doing that. They were successful in removing the laws that restricted the movement and the access and the opportunity of people, Black people, in the South. But the biggest work that he said that we face now is true equality, where there is equity. And so between the time that he was facing the conditions that he was fighting, and now I think we lost ground because of a lack of vigilance, because he always said that the tragedy still of human history is the children of darkness are often more zealous and determined than the children of light. And I think people of conscience, people of goodwill, often get a little comfortable and feel like, okay, we've made this stride, or we achieved this, goal, and we kind of lay back. But we have to remain vigilant in the face of adversity, because as my mom says, struggle is a never-ending process. Freedom is never really won. You earn it and win it in every generation. And so even though it appears, and maybe in some instances, that we are reverting back because of many of the efforts now to create laws that are similar to those back in the day, I believe we have a greater coalition of conscience that can use that fervor and strength to be vigilant in this time to make sure that we get federal voting rights legislation. We should never give up. Daddy and them never gave up, even when they faced the adversity and they faced severe violence when they were fighting for it. And so we have to continue in that same strength today.
Well, I know that it is an ongoing debate, and I want to thank you that you have joined us to share some of your father's legacy on this first day of February and Black History Month. Thank you so much, Dr. King, for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to click on the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.